नेक्स्ट वेबिनार में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं, वो भी एक बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट है। वी वुड लाइक टू वेलकम यू ऑल ऑन आयुष समृद्धि 1432 or 1431 number is also very exclusive, as I learnt from the internet. 1431 या 1432 में एक नंबर ऐसा है जिसका अर्थ होता है आई लव यू टू। ये मैंने आज सीखा 61 साल की उम्र में, और वो भी इंटरनेट से सीखा। आप सबका बुक एंड कॉपीराइट डे के उपलक्ष्य में पब्लिश बुक्स हैव कॉपीराइट, ये एक टॉपिक हमने सिलेक्ट किया। मैं आदरणीय सुपर्णा जी, सैकत जी को धन्यवाद देता हूं, और आदरणीय हमारे विष्णु प्रसाद शर्मा सर को उनके वेलकम के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं। आदरणीय विष्णु प्रसाद शर्मा।
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग टू एवरीबॉडी। हरिओम। Respected distinguished guests, eminent speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I, Professor Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma, welcome all of you to this AYUSH SAMRIDDHI International Conference Series on Published Books Have Copyright. Most important subject today we have. In this webinar, we have eminent speaker. I want to welcome Dr. Suparna Sainal Mukherjee, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Education, School of Humanities from Bolpur. Namaskar, Madam, and welcome you to this AYUSH Samriddhi webinar. Next, I want to welcome Dr. Soikat Kumar Basu, Executive Research Director, Performance Seed Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Namaskar, sir, and welcome you to this AYUSH Samriddhi webinar. Once again, I welcome all the eminent speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to this AYUSH Samriddhi webinar on Published Book Have Copyright. Thank you. Namaskar. Over to Pawanji.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। मेरे दोनों वक्ता बड़े प्रखर वक्ता हैं, लेकिन फिर भी वो उनसे एक बात पूछना चाहूंगा। सैकत जी एनसाइक्लोपीडिया है, 1432 का मतलब आई लव यू टू क्यों है? ये 1432 हमारी वेबिनार का नंबर है। जब इंटरनेट से मैं नंबर लेने गया तो इसका मतलब बता रहे हैं हर जगह 1432। अब ये पजल है मेरे लिए, तो रिडल कह लो, पजल कह लो, कि 1432 का मतलब आई लव यू टू क्यों है। लेकिन ये बात बिल्कुल सही है, वी लव यू टू। हम सब आपको प्यार करते हैं, जितने हमारे यहाँ लोग बैठे हैं। जैसे श्री श्री में आई ओ यू, तो आप हमारे हैं, तो ये हमारे सिद्धांतों के साथ है। मैं आदरणीय अग्निहोत्री सर को संक्षिप्त प्राकथन के लिए सादर आमंत्रित करता हूं।
प्रोफेसर पवन शर्मा जी, ये तो आपने नई फुलझड़ी या पहेली जो भी कह कर दी। मैं 1-2 का 4 तो सुना था हमने, गाने में है, लेकिन वो उसका आई लव यू का उसका अंतर्भाव आएगा ये
आई लव यू नहीं, आई लव यू टू, इसका मतलब
अच्छा आई लव, अच्छा जवाब है ये। अच्छा आई लव यू टू, आई एल यू का आगे वाला, आई एल यू का आगे वाला नेक्स्ट रिप्लाई।
हाँ जी सर।
चलिए, ये तो ये हुआ। आज ये जो टॉपिक हम लोग लेके बैठे हैं अपना बुक एंड कॉपीराइट डे जो मनाया है, ये बड़ा इंटरकनेक्टेड सा मुझे लगा। मैंने ये महसूस किया कि एनी आइटम, एनी आर्टिकल, if it is published or it has got the place in the book, it becomes automatically copyright of the author. ये एक सिंपल सा हम समझ पाए कि ऑथर ने जिसको पब्लिश कर दिया, एंड any part of its quotation or its exact use may only be possible after the permission of the writer or whoso is having the copyright of that published material. या तो कॉपीराइट रिजर्व है पब्लिशर के पास में तो, या राइटर के पास। तो ये इम्पोर्टेंट एक बेसिक हम लोग चले आ रहे हैं। मुझे अच्छे से याद है कि इस चीज को ध्यान रखते हुए हम किसी भी जो कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में नहीं जाएंगे, अन्यथा हमें ये दिक्कत हो सकती है। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ में हम आज के अपने अतिथियों से बहुत कुछ जानकारी लेने के क्रम में उनकी उपस्थिति का लाभ मिलेगा हम लोगों को। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ प्रोफेसर पवन शर्मा जी को वापस आगे की कार्रवाई।
सर मैं डॉक्टर शैकत वसु को सादर आमंत्रित करता हूं और एक प्रश्न के साथ आमंत्रित करता हूं। मेरे दो प्रश्न है कॉपीराइट में। वी आर अपलोडिंग अवर वीडियोज ऑन यूट्यूब, so what I observed, that if we are means taking any piece of anybody's video, YouTube notify us that please delete it, please trim it, or otherwise we will delete it. So whether these webinars are also having copyright? Number one question. Number second question, can we have Independent Research Ethics Society or AYUSH Samriddhi's copyright? So we don't have to take for each and every episode. Or can we take, if I write a book, so can we take copyright for Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma? So many publication can be done for that. So these three questions are in my mind. And with these three questions, I would like to request Dr. Sakat Kumar Basu. Welcome.
पवन जी, थैंक यू सो मच। मैं आपके सारे क्वेश्चंस का आंसर करने की कोशिश करूंगा, बट मैडम का थोड़ा इंटरनेट वगैरह का प्रॉब्लम और लाइट्स की बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ मैडम को थोड़ा आप जल्दी छोड़ दीजिए, उसके बाद मैं कवर कर दूंगा। ओके?
अरे मैडम मालिक है मैडम यहाँ की। स्वागत है
ठीक
मैडम,
है, ठीक है,
डॉक्टर सुपर्णा जी।
ओके।
स्वागतम स्वागतम मैडम, स्वागतम।
Thank you very much for giving me first chance. Thank you, Dr. Basu, for giving me some privilege to say something.
You are always first. You are always first.
No, no. It's my privilege to say something before Dr. Basu. So thank you very much to the all. Good evening to the all dignitaries over here. Basically, this copyright is a phenomenon which has been generated from since time immemorial. Basically, there is no copyright. When there is no copyright, how the printing used to going on. So when the printing used to going on or the publication used to going on, so reprint used to happen, the same article or same thing, the same publications. So in that case, it has been observed that the 1500th century, there was so many problems. So the printers are getting problem. So it is not possible the reprint every time the reprint is going. So in that case, they are exploring and they are suggesting, and they become the law. And first it has been introduced in the England, and simultaneously it has spread all over the world. And then when the British government, the India was under the British regime, that time the India also started this copyright. This copyright has a conceptual format. That means it is have some conceptualization. That means if my concept I am publishing, so that my concept no one can restore. Only it is my copyright, and I am using, and whoever is publishing, they have their conceptual right. So this conceptual right is intellectual property, and intellectual property, that means each and every individuals have the intellectuality. Intellectuality, that means the IQ level, reasoning capacity, logic capacity, experimental capacity, research orientation, innovation, and development of the social identification. So in that perspectives, so it has been developed when the intellectual capacity can be restored, the intellectual capacity could have been sustained. So how it can be sustained? There is nothing except law. So we would not follow anything if there is no law. So law and implementation, law and legislation, through this law and legislation, we can follow the rules and regulations. By this way, this copyright reform or the Copyright Act has come. And this Copyright Act has given you, absolutely your work and your specification, your knowledge, your view, your publication, your total conceptualization, and to restore it as the name of the particular individual. And this copyright is generated from so many years, and this copyright is giving not the whole life, it is 50 to 100 years. The copyright is depending upon that. After the 50 years, the copyright has to be renewed. Otherwise, this copyright cannot be the asset as. Like the way we can see that the Vishwabharati has the copyright of Rabindranath Tagore's songs. There is the copyright. But when the copyright has, again the light has gone. When the copyright has gone, that means the songs of the Rabindranath Tagore has been remixed. That means there is some other musical concert can be introduced, on they can use it in different formation, and Tagore song is not following the originality of the Tagore's. So copyright is giving you the originality, original formation of your work. That means my work or the individual work is a total concept, is a sensation, is a your brain matter and your brain child as such. So when the research, that means the thesis, it's have the the copyright. That means that thesis is declaration. When we are declaring that it is the original work of the particular individual, that means they have the right. No one can take the formation of what they have done. So at the same time, the books, journals, articles, wherever we can publish, we must have the copyright, because the undertaking, we are undertaking that it is the original work, and this original work only the author has the right. No one can have the right of this original work. So this original work may form and then develop through this copyright formation. So copyright is a very scientific orientation and mature sensation which can restore our original work in the particular author's name. So it can follow not only in the publication of books, but it can be published in the case of the the biography, then the cinematography, wherever we can see it can be maintained, this copyright formation. So it is very scientific and meaningful for the development of the original work to restore in the proper formation and manner. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me such a chance to say something with the copyright. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much. लोड शेडिंग में भी आप बोले जा रहे हैं, मतलब ये गजब है, गजब है. आप लोगों की ऊर्जा को नमन है, नमन है. बहुत अच्छा.
थैंक यू सर.
डॉक्टर सैकत कुमार बसु जी.
नमस्कार. थैंक यू डॉक्टर शर्मा. मैं थोड़ा I want to highlight a little bit on this copyright issues. Today's our topic is book copyright, but this copyright applies to a lot of other areas, like music, like our dance and drama productions, मूवीज जो है उसके कॉपीराइट्स वगैरह वगैरह.
टॉपिक इसलिए रखना पड़ा बुक का क्योंकि आज बुक एंड कॉपीराइट डे.
हाँ, नहीं, मतलब इस सभी में कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है. ऑल ऑफ देम हैज सम काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. मैं इतना बड़ा सा एक टॉपिक को इतने इजी तो कवर करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, लेकिन आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू अ ग्लिम्प्स ऑफ द चैलेंजेस ऑफ कॉपीराइट वगैरह. मैडम हैज वेरी नाइसली गिव अस एन आइडिया about what copyright is and where copyright originated and how it is formulated. लेकिन मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि this copyright was not that big issue in case of India, and it was always a copyright a very big issue in Western countries, but in India के time it has never been a so big issue. But over the time, as we are globalizing, as we are getting connected to the rest of the world, copyright issues are becoming very, very pertinent and important issues. For just example, आपका जैसे ही हमारा intellectual property rights और एक है ना, like if you are developing a drug, if you are developing a method for producing a drug, it could be an Ayurvedic formulation or whatever. अगर किसी ने इसको develop किया तो they get an intellectual property right. This was in India. I think I strongly support the approach of the Indian government in saying that one may have invented the process, but that does not mean that if you find an alternative easy methods of producing that same chemical or that product or whatever you have generated in a easier, cheaper way, this would be a new patent, and you do not have to keep paying the other person for the patents that they have made. In Western countries, you will see in India, many professors from IITs and other places very proudly will say, oh, this man, such and such academic, such and such papers and has 10 patents. This used to be a case in Western countries too, that they will say, oh, this and this, this and this, and this man has, this individual professor has 10 patents. Intellectual property right. It is close to similar to copyright. This is the reason I'm raising this issue. Now, when a private company, a drug company, say Reddy's Laboratory है या Pfizer है, ऐसे कोई big companies या biotechnology के Monsanto या कोई company है, they contribute, they like invest in research millions of dollars for finding a new technology, for finding a new method, for finding.
5 दिन बाद IPR डे है.
हाँ, उसमें भी ये इसे हाईलाइट करेंगे. So what they are doing, they are investing a huge amount of money, and it makes sense for them to get patents on every step, every process, every mechanism, every trial, is because once they are going to market it after an investment for 10, 15 or 20 years, they want to have exclusive right of that product so that they can not only sell it in USA, but across the world, and everyone is like glyphosate, fertilizer these companies have developed is now used all over the world, and we have to pay a patent right on them because they have this exclusive right, because they have discovered this product after many years of research. Having said that, copyright is also similar to this, but this protection that is given on patents and copyright in Western countries is not what we get in India. For example, if someone takes a beat of a music from, say, Beatles is a big music group. If someone, I'm in a party or somewhere when no one knows me, I have used a Beatles song or used it on a stage or a perform, no one will notice. But if I am a dignitary, if I am a celebrity, if people knows me as a social worker, and I have used Beatles, a piece of music for one of my presentation or talk, then I must have a permission from the agency that holds the right of the Beatle, or I am liable to be prosecution. And this liability to prosecution in Western countries with respect to patents and copyright runs into millions of dollars. So there are lawyers who are experienced and are specializing in patent law. They are specializing in copyright laws all over Europe, all over Australia, and all over the developing countries. This is a very sensitive issue, and all of them complain that in countries like India, there is no protection for intellectual property rights, no protection for patents, in spite of the fact that India is a signatory in many international forums where India, by rule, has to maintain those parameters in maintaining the sanctity of the copyright, maintaining the sanctity of this and that. So this is the challenge that we're being complained, but what the stand of Indian government has been that you have designed a method, we have discovered an alternative and a cheaper method. So we are making this medicine at a much lesser price. If the cost of production of a particular medicine is $100 in USA, India is making the same medicine with different approaches or different techniques or methods. Same chemical is produced, say the cost is 30 rupees or like say 500 rupees or something, and say the average cost of that medicine become $10 in USA and the average cost of that medicine become 50 rupees in India. It is done because Indians could not afford a medicine which would cost them $100 or $200. It's a huge, big money if you do the conversion. So the government has a responsibility towards these people, and to make things available, they have to make it cheaper. They are not buying the medicine directly from that foreign country. They are manufacturing it differently from the original manufacturing process, and they are producing the same product with the same potency and is making it available because this is an Indian ingenuity. The Western world do not want to recognize that, and India also does not care. They are continuing with this. Had not India been a big market, they would have taken India to big international courts and get them, got Indian government into trouble. This is, how the scenario of patent is. Copyright, as I could say, Pavanji, as scholars, you have to always publish in journals and magazines. Very few people know that when you are publishing an article, say you are publishing an article, a research article or a review article in exclusively Cluer or Taylor and Francis or all these kinds of big giants that are available around the world. Once you submit the paper, it is being reviewed, you make the corrections following the reviewer's instruction, blah, 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 blah. You have paid the process of processing charge and everything. And once this is submitted, accepted and published in the journal, whether online or in hard copy media, a hard copy form version, So, which means whether they are published in online version or in print version, the copyright goes to the publisher. Particularly in case of academic journals, whether it is JSTOR, whether it is Cluer, whether it is what you call all these big Elsevier, everywhere, these journals or particularly these big companies hold the copyright. So why is it copyright? Why is this is important, and why are you highlighting? So, for example, I have published a paper in say a such and such journal of chemical medicine, and Pavanji, while doing his research, wants to use some figures from my paper or some data or table that I have provided in my research paper. He wants to include it in his paper, so he is seeking permission. If he seeks permission of the authors or the lead author of that paper, he does not have the authority to give you a particular what you call this permission. So where will the permission come from? If you need a copyright permission, you have to go to that particular journal. In most of the cases, because you are using for non-commercial purpose, say for example, Pavanji as a student is going to use it as a reference, as a resource material for her thesis or his or her thesis or dissertation, they will give you a permission. There is an online form. You will go and fill up the form. You will mention the name of the paper, what is the purpose, why you are doing that, blah, 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 blah. You submit it, and maybe after a week or something, or sometimes even in 2-3 days, you will receive an email that this publisher has given you a permission for using this paper. But if you write to the original author, they do not technically even have the right to provide you a PDF copy of that paper. But most cases, most authors, if you request in Europe or Asia or something, if they have PDF copy of the paper, they will, if you request them over the email, they will send a PDF copy of that published paper in the email. But according to rule or according to the copyright, even this is not allowed, or this is also illegal. If you have to use a journal paper, you have to go into the library that you are accessing. If your library has access to that particular journal, only then you can legally use that paper. For example, most libraries, international libraries, and now even in our country, there is a restriction in the libraries that you cannot make photocopy, or you cannot make more than 10% photocopy of a particular book. Although the cost of the book says $3,000, which student in India or like an individual in India can afford to buy that particular book? But it is very important. You want to buy it, you could not find it in the market because these are not easily available, as there is not much customers for it. So you have to get it into a library, and you go to the library. What you want to do is you want to make some photocopies. Previously, students used to make notes out of it. Now we have the option of taking your mobile camera can take pictures, you can take photos, or you can also make photocopies. But legally, if you will go, if you will see at the very, whether it's a book, whether it's a journal, on the very first page, on the what you call the top cover and the back part of the top cover, you will see that there is a clause provided there. No part of this publication whatsoever could be copied either in form of photocopying, camera, or any kind of this without prior authorized permission from the publisher, etc. is given. In most places, people in a country like India, we do not care. I have stayed for a very long time in other countries, and I have also seen students could not wait for getting their permission. Who cares for your permission? They will go and make photocopies as soon as the librarian does not look, or they will learn this book, taking it out, and they will photocopy it outside the campus. So the illogical use of copyright or the abuse of copyright by many of the lead publishers have been making publication difficult. And why are researchers very angry with this publisher is because, a foreign author is providing me a free PDF copy of his or her paper. For what purpose? He knows that I am going to write a paper and I'm going to cite his paper. So once my paper is published, he will get a citation value because I have used or referred or cited his work or her work. But if I am restricted even going into the paper, I do not have the rights to get a permission to use that paper. I have to go through this library, this form, that form. I cannot use this, I cannot use that. There is this restriction, or you have to pay fees. If you are looking for a particular paper which your library cannot provide, if you have to go and buy it, Pavanji, Agnihotri ji, it's in hundreds, a couple $1,000 is the charge. How is it possible that an individual who is a genuine researcher from a developing country could ever afford to use that paper? So they have to use the other way. But this abuse has been continuing for a long time, and across Europe and across North America, these giant publishers have hijacked the copyright and has transformed it into their rights, where the people who wrote the grant, got the grant, designed the study, did all the experiments, got all the results, collected the data, analyzed, spent countless of sleepless nights in preparing the paper, submitted, paid a processing charge for the paper, which is, not a very small amount. It's a pretty hefty amount for paper processing charge for many journals. After all these, when the journal publishes it, it's saying you have no right on this paper once this is published. You get credit for your work. You can cite your work, but this is my copyright. Kluwer has the copyright for this. This is something which is not acceptable, but this is what is existent. And there are lots of cases going on. There has been many times that many leading scientists from top American journals have resigned in a huge group, and they have gone like this Publon, or this public forum that you see for these Publon journals was created by scientists and stuff to cut down the cost, because these people are making huge money, as well as people are not having any copyright to use their own work. Even for giving you a copy, the principal or the corresponding author, needs permission from them. No one bothers to take this. They will just send you over an email. But this is hampering the whole research process, because I am unable to cite your paper. If you go into the internet, if you are looking for very high quality journals, all you can see is sometimes a little abstract, and sometimes a little bit of their tables and the reference lists, other than and the citation of that particular paper. But you are not being able to read that particular paper on the net. For doing that, if your library has access to these journals, only you are able to go and collect those paper. Or if you have friends abroad, you request them to go into their library, collect a copy for them and send it to you. This is how it is doing. But how this entire process of copyright for protecting these big journal groups, which are multinational companies, is causing a big disruption in the research field for not being able to access papers and reducing the level of citation. So I did an outstanding work, but only 100 people from Europe could afford to see your paper. 4,000 people from the developing countries are unable to see your paper other than the abstract. Then what is the point of publishing that paper? Because so many people could not even cite you, because they could not get access to the entire paper. So this is a very sensitive issue in the academic world. This is happening in case of science. This is happening in case of medical science, agricultural science, general science, humanities, and social sciences. No one is happy about it. But as you know, big companies, multinational companies, or corporate houses has such big influence that they have monopolized the market, and there hasn't been a voice that has raised it to an international platform or international court of justice to justify how could this be possible that they can cover everything under their own name, even for book chapters. If two editors have edited a book for this high value publisher, once this is published, the content of the entire book does not go to any author or the editors, it goes straightly to the publisher. However, if we come to India, there are copyright laws, but the copyright law, how it is implemented on the ground, is extremely shaky. And I will give you examples. For example, I'm sorry to say this, but most Indian publishers are big cheaters. How they are big cheaters? So, for example, Agnihotriji wrote a book on Ayurveda, and they have sold 1,000 copies across India. They will come and report, but maybe 99% will do them. Maybe 0.1% you can find a publisher who will say to you that they said, Pavanji, Agnihotriji, only 70 books were sold. So our royalty, 5% that we give will be on those 70 books, because you do not have any right, you do not have any access to see how many books they have actually originally sold. So many authors, whether professional books, law books, medical books, those who are authors in India publishing unless you are very famous. For example, if you are a very famous writer, it is difficult for the publisher to cheat you, because you have, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and stuff. You have a stature in the society. You can go and complain to the government, blah, 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 blah. Then you are protected. But if you are a scientist, or you are a social scientist, or you are an arts professor, or an academic researcher, educationist, when you are publishing your book, at least in case of edited volume, they give the copyrights to the, sometimes to the editors. But now even Indian publishers are taking away the entire copyright and keeping the rights to the publisher. publisher. It's still a debatable issue. Most publishers need to, once a book is published in India, one copy should be submitted to the National Library. This is by rule. But 80 to 90% of our Indian publishers do not submit those books to the National Library. So even if you want to go and use library access and want to use a particular book, you cannot get even in huge national library, is because these publishers are not ready to, do not care to submit that book. And who is the sufferer? The researcher or the sufferer, because the penalty is 50 rupees. Can you imagine on this day, 70 or 7 years post independence, for not submitting books to the National Library, which is a crime by the act, it is 50 rupees fine. And if you go to the court, the time it will take, your grandson or your granddaughter may be able to get the court order finally that this book has been approved, or the publisher made a mistake and stuff. You won't get it in a lifetime time. So this particular aspect of playing with the copyright, particularly in India, is cheating people. I will give you another example. For example, West Bengal speaks Bengali, writes Bengali, and the adjoining country of Bangladesh, which was a part of West Bengal, of the Bengal province, now a separate country, also speak the same Bengali language. So many of very famous lead authors, whether they are, those who have passed away, as well as the current authors who are very popular, they have their books on sale in various stores in Bangladesh. But these books are not actually at all published in West Bengal, or they have taken this book from West Bengal into Bangladesh and they're selling it. They are getting the book from the West Bengal, taking it into Bangladesh, printing it on their own press with a new publisher, and they are selling it on the market without paying a single penny as a copyright, which is completely illegal. The Bangladesh government knows about it, and no one takes any action. What is even more dangerous, there are ghost writers. Say, for example, someone is writing on the pen name of Rabindranath Tagore. So, like, Tagore has passed away, his copyright has been dissolved, but still someone is following the style of Rabindranath Tagore and releasing a fake story under a publisher, and they're selling it to the public, and people are buying it because it is cheap. This has happened with many of the current legendary authors in Bengal too, where fictitious story, which was never written by the author, is available in Bangladesh, where the publisher is selling the book where the original author has never written a book like that. It is selling under his name. It is a totally different story that the author has never penned, and it is being sold in the market under his name because his name has a market value, and so they are selling this book and making money. So these kind of malpractices, both on the way of the publisher, both on the way of the distributors, both on the way of the chain suppliers, everywhere there is so much dishonesty that the copyright rule is crushed in India. I haven't heard about a major copyright issue related challenge done in the court. There may be some, but there hasn't been any major issue because the copyright issue is a very marginalized issue. You won't see any lawyer here who has specialized in copyright laws. But if you go into Western countries, you will see there are many lawyers who are specialized in patent laws, many lawyers who have specialized in copyright laws, because this fetches big money. If they're going to the court, this is sued for millions of dollars. The lawyer can make a big money. It's still not a big deal in India. And it's still in the hand of publisher, and the way they are, you are like a Katputli, you are a puppet. They are pulling the strings and we have to jump on that. This is the reason for a long time I used to do a lot of textbook. I have stopped my participation as a co-author in any kind of textbooks anymore. I do a lot of research books, but no textbooks in the fund, because the huge amount of work you have to do to generate a textbook, the revenue generation from the textbook is so low that it does not compensate the hard labor that you have put in. So all these factors, because there is no copyright law to protect the author and stuff. Now, moving away a little bit from the book and getting into the music and stuff, many of the Bollywood film directors have copied music verbatim from many other countries and have used them in our music. Bappi Lahiri has been one of the pioneers in doing that. Now, Pritam is another guy who does a lot of copying of music from various ethnic groups around the world and using. If the Dhoom music that you hear has been so popular, all has been copied from other countries or other other music groups and stuff, but they haven't paid any copyright. Now you do see that sometimes in the Bombay High Court or the lower courts in Bombay, some of these cases have been highlighted. Tamma Tamma Lele, Chumma Chumma Lele. This was a big fight between Bappi Lahiri and Rajnikant Pyarelal. This group is because both of them saying they have originated the song. It went to the court. I do not know what was the final settlement. Both versions are available in the market. Both are cheap songs, but still available in the market. But these are copyright clashes that has happened. And many genuine, real good singers, say for Hemant Kumar or Manna De, their songs are being indiscriminately used, but no copyright is being paid. But there is copyright rule where it says that if you are putting it in YouTube or any other media, anyone is displaying that, you will have to pay money. Now here I come about the YouTube question. So say for example, Manna De's songs are very famous. Ameri Johora Jabi. This has been posted on YouTube by countless subscribers, YouTubers, etc. And the YouTube has never threatened them. But when you have posted your own video and you want to take a part of it, it is by law. What they're saying is ruleful, but it is that you are not allowed to use it. Otherwise, they will delete it, or even bad, they will issue you 3 warnings and then they will stop your channel. The entire material that you have generated for say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years will be completely blocked. It could be only opened if you go to the court, and who wants to go to an Indian court because there is no justice? Because you will have to go for years and years and years, and it will huge expense for lawyers, and you get nothing. So what this is doing is bringing in substantial poor quality authors into the book writing or textbook writing market, because many of the leading authors, many of the leading researchers do not want to be a part of the textbook because the return is very, very poor. There may be instances of here and there a view. There are good publishers, but most of them are cheating the authors. So good people do not want to spend time in doing books and stuff. I am talking not about this question answer kind of a book, or I'm not talking about the Medici kind of book. If you go into the market, there is O.P. Mishra, mathematics, O.P. Mishra, chemistry, O.P. Mishra, there may not be any O.P. Mishra actual. It could be a totally fictitious name. Different people have written. They have been given a token amount of money, and this book is done. And this O.P. Mishra may have died 20 years back. If you go into College Street in Kolkata, which is a big book market, you will say Mihir Sen was a very famous professor, and his notes are available. You will say that people are selling history notebooks on Mihir Sen, English notebooks on Mihir Sen. Mihir Sen has died 30 years back. Professor P.K. Bardhan is a famous physiologist and is a father of our noted member Sutapaji. His books, he has passed away quite some time back. His books are available, revised versions are available. They do not get any royalty because the copyright law is fringed, and new editions are coming up when that person is not actually alive. He is not on the planet anymore, but his new books are coming out into the market. So these are challenges that we see every day in India, where in Western country, the copyright has been stretched to such a level that people are afraid of fringing copyrights. In India, the copyright is just a laughing stock. If you have power, authority, if you are a publisher, you can cheat your author as much as you can. This has been deteriorating the quality of textbook production, deteriorating the quality of book materials that we are getting. And this has increased the number of ghost writers, increased the number of fictitious writers, both on fiction, non-fiction, academic and non-academic areas. So copyright is still in a juvenile stage in India, because the copyright law is not implemented either both by the central and the state or union and territory government very seriously. So it's in a dire state of needs of modification, changes, and establishment at the ground level. Other than this, whether you are author or whatever you are missing out on this particular part. Many people copy the entire book. These are not e-books. So many people will scan their book and they go and upload it on Google. So many publishers cry about this. Oh, like you are putting the entire book on the Google. We are losing out money. But you are selling 1,000 copies and you are selling that my only 50 copies have been sold. So I am not making money. So I at least want more people to read my books, at least so that cite my work in their research work. At least I get a citation value. So Google sometimes, if you are violating and they are benefiting, because many of the visitors visiting your book, they have no problem. Whether it is Google, whether it is YouTube, the same. When they are hunted, when their rights are fringed on where their interests are crossed, they are unhappy and they will throw legal notice to you. And Sharmaji, these legal notice are really dangerous, because these people have a lot of power and a lot of money power. They can drag you to the court and you can run in the court for a long time. Like it's just an harassment, and paying the lawyers continues year after year after year. Nothing is being resolved. So you feel that you are fighting for a dead cause. So it is very important that in our parliament, we have very little educated people going into the parliament who understands these copyright and stuff. There needs to be serious discussion at the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha level, that we need to change our copyright rules and protect authors, protect musicians, and protect other creative person, because they are, even artists or people who are drawing, their figures are being copied and multiple copies are being sold on the net. So this needs to stop. But for that, the government has to be a part of this. And many businessmen who are doing this fictitious business are very closely associated with our beloved politicians. So it's a vicious cycle, not very easy to get out. The only way you get a good royalty, you have a good brand name, or people are afraid of you. You have good high political connections. So if you have a good political connection, you will send a threat letter to them. I'm going to take it to the chief minister or somewhere like that. Then suddenly the 50 books they're selling becomes 500 books that they have sold, and they send you a royalty. But every one of us do not have that authority. We do not have that connectivity. We do not have that support. So until then, we are at the mercy of the publisher. The situation is very, very dismal. I do not know how many people has given you this picture. The picture is very sad. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sekat. My two questions still remained unanswered. Sekatji, whether I can get copyright on my name or my association name number.
From YouTube, you are saying so?
Not YouTube. Suppose we want to take copyright of all webinars without YouTube. So YouTube
since you have posted them, as far as I know, since you have posted these on YouTube already, YouTube is now the copyright owner.
So if we want to use these videos, we have to take.
If you have not posted it, then you continue to be the owner. But once you have posted it on the YouTube, Facebook and stuff, they become owner. So they can, if you are using it and they want to harass you, they can come back after you and cause problems. I think you need to talk to but if you want to seriously take this, you need to talk to a lawyer before you use them, because they are really, really powerful and the rules are very, very strong, and they may not charge you under Indian law. They may charge you under the rules where Google, YouTubes are based. So they may charge you under UK law, they may charge you under US law. And because it is an international platform, you can get charged from those government, particularly from their courts and stuff. So I would say that once you are posted, and now if you want to use it, you have to talk to a potential lawyer. Copyright rules are very exclusive. As far as I know, as soon as you post it, it is their property. Now, if you want to reuse it, you have to take their permission. And if you get the permission, it has to be for a non-commercial purpose. So you cannot publish a book out of it. You cannot get you cannot a sellable book under it. It has to be public use and non-profitable.
Achha, suppose we have 1500 videos. If I want to trim them, cut them, and make the short videos of 10 minutes of per speaker, and again I want to post on YouTube, whether I can do it?
I think they will not allow you to do it. They will say, because it is a YouTube version, you have to first ask for their permission. Only if they get permission, then you can compile and then you can put it. Because now you are using copyrighted material and the copyright is with them. But if you have taken, say, for example, you have taken my interview separately, and if you have not posted, you can compile them together and you can put them on the YouTube.
Achha. A person cannot take copyright for himself?
No, if you look into the journals, all the journals and the foreign journals, once your paper is published, it is the property of the publisher. It is not your property anymore.
I am not asking this. If I want to take copyright for my future publication or my future creativity, whether I can have that copyright on my name?
You can have it in your own name if you publish it on your own. If it is published under, say, Pavan Karma and Company Limited, then you can. Then it is your property. But if you are publishing it through a vendor, say Agnihotri Group and Sons, then it is the property of Agnihotri Group and Sons. Some publishers will allow you to have your copyright, but because they are also not very aware about the copyright rules, but it is now the publisher's right. But many publishers in India will allow you to keep it on your right too. Say, for example, HMV, you do a music with them, you have copyright of that particular music. But if you want to use it, if you listen to me, you do a music with HMV, you have a copyright, they will pay you for the money. But you are going to now to West Indies and you want to do a show and you want to display that video, then you need their permission. They have the right not to allow you because they have copyrighted you, but the seller and distribution right is with them. They will sign you contracts, right? These contracts are very detailed, and wherever it benefits the company, they are written in 8 size font or 9 size fonts, so that you cannot see them properly. Just like mutual fund, right? They said we will give you this, we will give you that, and at the end where you cannot see anything, it is a 5 size font size. They are saying that all the liabilities of yours, market is susceptible to fluctuation. There is no guarantee that the money that you have invested will be returned to you. But you don't see that we have signed it, right? So all of us have done it. So it is a cheater's paradise. It is a cheater's paradise. If you have to really seriously pursue this, I would strongly recommend that you need to talk to a lawyer who specializes in copyright, has experience in working in copyright, and work accordingly with them. Else you can get into trouble.
Great.
If they do not notice Pavan Sharma, then there is no problem. You know, if it is a Nathu Lohar who has taken something from YouTube and shown in Bihar, no problem. But if Pavan Sharma is doing and Pavan Sharma has multiple videos,